it's what Radiant Hope does is to encourage, to lift these people up in a very dark time. And I think that this adds another whole layer of blessing to these families, to be able to capture this moment in time, the gift. It's a huge gift to them to look back on this moment of their journey. I think what impacted me the most about the first family that I photographed for Radiant Hope was the children. That, really got to me to think about the journey that they were going through, that they would be potentially losing their mother to cancer. And so just that's a small price for me to pay, to give a couple of hours of my time and years of experience to give them a gift.
I actually first learned about Radiant Hope through a patient who shared her story of receiving an anonymous package. And as she shared this story, I could see and feel the light in her heart. This package was not just a package with, quote, small items for personal care through her cancer journey. This package delivered a huge message. I could see it on her face that people care, people see me, people see my struggles, and that I could go on this cancer journey. Organizations such as Radiant Hope and Sail the Sea provide this sense of community.
Cancer knows no bounds. And we've had very, very close friends that have struggled with cancer, and some that we've lost along the way. And then one day I got the phone call that I was diagnosed with melanoma. I was 28. And there's really nothing that prepares you for being on the side of the phone call that says, Maria, you have cancer. And I remember standing there, I was at work, and I remember taking a minute and going, okay, I'm going to freak out. Like I can feel I'm going to freak out. But I didn't. And that feeling of just overwhelming peace, that it was going to be okay regardless of what happened, is one of those moments that I will never forget. One of the dearest, most significant people in my life worked for Radiant Hope early on. And she started telling me about Radiant Hope. And I was like, oh yeah, that sounds really cool. And as we journeyed through life and cancer became a greater role in, especially in her life, and the loss that came through cancer, and me journeying closely with her through that time, I started seeing through her the impact that Radiant Hope was having. As simple as a box, this hope-filled box that just anonymously showed up at people's doorsteps. And at first I was like, really, that's it? That's what we're doing? Like just sending a box? Like what about all the other things? And I think it was a very narrow-minded way to look at how something so small can be so impactful, right? And it was a good reminder for me personally that it doesn't matter what the contribution is. Like if we're willing to put ourselves out there in the smallest of ways, the Lord uses all of it. And Radiant Hope has always been an example of small things becoming bigger and bigger. So 2 years ago, right at the end of the pandemic, we had the opportunity to sponsor a family. And I got the phone call saying, hey, we have this family and they only speak Spanish. It was kind of a no-brainer, like, Maria, can you call and get the list, from them, because we're having a hard time. And so I picked up the phone and I called, and honestly, that phone call was really reminiscent for me of being on their side with a family that was journeying through cancer and having to speak to the daughter, which in my case was me. I'm the daughter of immigrant parents. We kind of had a close journey with them, and And then we started kind of getting involved in their lives a little bit in relation to things that they needed. And, when they were having a hard time getting groceries, there were a couple of times where she had reached out to me and I was like, what do you need? So it became a little bit of a friendship, even though we were geographically apart and not doing life together every day. There was a kindredness because of some similar journeys that we had experienced.
I heard about Radiant Hope through our Mothers of Preschoolers group at church. We oftentimes have patients come in day one, cycle one, who are very nervous, anxious, angry, upset. They don't know what to expect. And those water bottles are sometimes an icebreaker for us nurses. They walk in and hopefully know that their families are there to support them. Their medical team is behind them. But I think it's really special that they also have a little piece of knowing the community is also there. People they don't even know, praying for them. We had a patient recently, day one, cycle one patient. Again, nervous, not sure what to expect walking in. He was asking for lotion for his hands, and I was like, oh, perfect, we have these water bottles. Just talking to him and his wife a little bit, I knew he was a believer as well, and I was like, this is perfect. I knew it was going to touch him, especially, and gave him the water bottle, and they thought it was so awesome. He came back this past week, actually, and said to me, do you know, would I be able to connect with this ministry? I think I might want to help talk to people. So you never know where that little yellow water bottle is going to lead. I think a lot of people will walk in with a negative mind frame when they're diagnosed with cancer, and it doesn't have to be that way. I was young when my mom went through cancer, but I would say scary when you're a child. And not necessarily knowing what the outcome is going to be. It can be isolating sometimes. So to have, a ministry to support families is amazing.